questions? Okay, Kat, it's okay if I go ahead and get this party started officially?
Let's get this party started officially.
All right, awesome. Well, welcome everybody. Happy Monday. Thanks for being here. Good afternoon if you're on the East Coast. Good morning if you're out West. Wherever you are, I'm so happy to see you. We're gonna have a good session here. We're gonna get our Monday off to an awesome start. We're here to talking about Giving Tuesday now. Yes, a new Giving Tuesday. I'm so excited. We got a great guest to tell you all about it. But I'm so happy you're all here. Hope you all had a good weekend. You're staying healthy. You're staying safe. I'm Steven. I'm over here at Bloomerang. I'll be moderating as usual. Just a couple of quick housekeeping items. Want to let everyone know that we are recording this session. So if you have to leave early, maybe get interrupted by a kid or a family member or something like that, don't worry. We will send you that recording. We'll send you the slides. We'll send you anything that is mentioned in the sessions. I promise we'll get that to you this afternoon by email. So just be on the lookout from that from me. Most importantly, though, as you're listening today, please feel free to use the chat box right there on your webinar screen. There's a Q&A. Type in your questions there. I'll be looking at questions. We're going to save time at the end for Q&A. In the chat, tell us who you are, introduce yourself. We'd love for this to be super interactive, so don't be shy. Don't sit on those hands. You can also tweet us. I'll keep an eye on the Twitter feed. We usually get a couple of tweets throughout the hour. That's cool. But we'd love to hear from you, your questions, comments, and definitely introduce yourself because we want to know who we're talking to also. And if this is your first Bloomerang webinar, just want to say an extra special welcome to you newbies. If you've never been on a Bloomerang webinar, we're so happy to have you. We do these webinars usually every Thursday, but we've been doing webinars all the time. I hope you're not webinared out. We were just talking with Kat about that. There's been a lot of webinars that you can register for and attend. I know it. We try to keep the content super high quality. We record everything, so if you don't want to catch it live. But in addition to doing those webinars, what Bloomerang is most known for is our donor management software. That's what Bloomerang is. Just for context, if you want to learn more about us, check out our website. You can watch videos. You can take tours of the product if you are interested in seeing what we're all about. So check that out if you're interested. Later, don't do that right now because I'm so excited to have Kat Murphy-Toms joining us from beautiful downtown Chicago where the sun is shining, I can tell. How's it going, Kat? You doing okay? Thanks for doing this, by the way.
How are you? No, thank you.
This is so awesome. I have so many things I want to say about Kat and Giving Tuesday. For one, I asked them to do this and they very graciously accepted because they're just awesome people over there. They just want to help folks with this new Giving Tuesday that's going to be happening in a couple of weeks. Put this together really quickly for us, and it's chock full of awesome information. If you guys don't know Kat, she's over there at the Giving Tuesday team. She leads their digital strategy. She's got all kinds of templates and tips and tricks to share with you today. And I just had a blast the last half hour talking to her. If you all logged in early, you saw some of that chat. Kat, I'm so thankful that you're doing this for us. It's awesome to finally meet you. And I don't want to take any time away from you because you got some good info for us. So I'm going to stop my screen sharing here.
I was going to say I've got a lot. I'm going to talk a lot about what Giving Tuesday now is because I've been getting that question a lot. So that's where we're going to start. Okay.
Love it. I'm going to shut this down.
It's not presenting. Okay, tell me what to do to make it present.
It might be under view.
Should be, right? In front of my face. Right in front of my face. As Steve mentioned, I'm Kat Murphy-Toms. I do digital strategy for Giving Tuesday. I've been only on the team for 2 years, although it feels a lot longer than that. I led previously what we call one of our community campaigns. These are like chapters of Giving Tuesday all around the US. We have 213 of them now. They're usually geography based. I led my Illinois state campaign, and it was a giving day that we did on Giving Tuesday every year. So I'm very familiar with Giving Tuesday, longtime veteran, and so they brought me onto the team. You probably know about Giving Tuesday and the history of it, so I'll do the shortcut version just in case you don't. It started as a day for anyone, anywhere to give, and it's really grown into the largest social movement of all time. If you think about it by reach, there's activity happening in literally every country in the world. We have 213 of these community campaigns that I mentioned. These are chapters, coalition organizations that form around Giving Tuesday. Most are in geography, but there are issue area campaigns as well. And we have 60 official countries, everywhere from Giving Tuesday Taiwan to Giving Tuesday Kenya. It's the heartbeat of this movement, and they're a pleasure and a joy to work with. Each country does their own thing with Giving Tuesday. Some countries are on different places in the universe when it comes to fundraising. So some use it for fundraising, some don't use it for fundraising at all. They do something completely different with Giving Tuesday. Some new things with Giving Tuesday, we've recently spun out into our own organization. We used to be housed at the 92nd Street Y in New York City. That's where we were born, but we have grown and pulled out into our own organization just this past July. And our mission is not to create the largest crowdfunding day of all time. That's not it at all. We feel that our mission is to build a more just and equitable society through uplifting generosity and scaling generosity. So it's much bigger than that. Sure, this is a day for fundraising. We did $2 billion in the US last year, sure, but what's more important to us really are these small acts of kindness, and especially now, those are the things that are going to carry us forward and heal. So a little bit of backdrop on how we came to adding Giving Tuesday now to our regular purview of things that we do. And I'm going to say this a couple of times throughout this, that Giving Tuesday is still happening on December 1st, 2020. We're not moving Giving Tuesday. This is in addition. Like many of you, as the coronavirus crisis started to, roll out in waves across the world and finally arriving here in the US, our team thought really hard about what the best way to respond would be, given our global footprint, given our megaphone as the leading voice for the generosity economy, and given our distributed leadership network all around the world. At first, we wanted to be sensitive to the moment, and we still want to be sensitive to the moment, but we thought maybe we would just try empowering our leaders and our community to activate and respond on the ground. But it really quickly became apparent that we needed to do something much bigger. So at the urging of our many, many partners, these are everyone from data platform providers to the social media platforms to big foundations to small rural communities in Louisiana. Everyone's considered a partner of Giving Tuesday. So we tested the water with folks. It eventually became important for us to try to think about what we could do as a more meaningful response to the crisis. And after a lot of consultation with a lot of people in our networks, we decided that the thing to do was going to be to use our Giving Tuesday platform to spur people around the world to be generous, to create a spike of generosity, but also to benefit nonprofits, but to reinforce that our collective generosity has the power to heal our communities. It has the power to unite communities. It has the power to strengthen civic bonds at a time when we so desperately need to do that. So we launched this new day, Giving Tuesday Now. It's happening in 14 days, 15, 14, who's counting? It normally takes us 51 weeks to pull off Giving Tuesday, but we figured we'd give it a go. Let's try it in 4 weeks and see what happens. That's a joke. One of the things that Giving Tuesday is best at is rapid deployment and quick mobilization of our group, and we're going to leverage that, and we're going to do that for Giving Tuesday Now. Okay. I was going to say I talked about this already, but we can talk about it again. We have 213 community campaigns in the US, 60 countries. Most of the time, these community campaigns rally around a certain geography. So please check to see if a community campaign exists and is already happening in your area, but see if one is happening in your issue area as well. Lately, we've had a trend where folks are organizing around, like, there's a coalition of zoos. They celebrate Giving Tuesday under the banner Giving Zoo Day. We have a couple new ones crop up just this past Giving Tuesday. One is Giving Tuesday Military, which is military spouses all around the world who very quickly connected themselves to each other, and they did acts of kindness on Giving Tuesday last year. Giving Tuesday Kids last year started up. It's led by a 13-year-old and a pack of her 13 to 14-year-old friends. They do acts of kindness. They participate with nonprofits. They do fundraising campaigns with nonprofits. They feel that social good is in their heart and blood. And so they wanted to celebrate Giving Tuesday alongside all of us adults. And so we said, yes, you should do that. Please come on in. So if you have children, please contact me. I would be happy to get you in touch with the Giving Tuesday Kids group. We're seeing a lot of professional networks come up and activate around COVID, especially, right? We've been folks who are providing remote counseling, coalitions of therapists who are organizing to help. Same thing with lawyers who can assist people with navigating legal issues. These are all acts of generosity and kindness that count, and that we felt that we wanted to be mobilizing and celebrating. Mutual aid networks, of course, these organic grassroots networks of folks who are coming together to help out around their block, support their neighbors. All of those types of activations count, and we're working actively to mobilize a lot of that. We've been getting this question a lot, you know, like, is it tone deaf to fundraise or to sort of express need for support in this moment? And so as part of the goal of Giving Tuesday now is to create an umbrella for under which all kinds of organizations can say, yes, we too are addressing the critical needs of this moment. And here's the role that we're playing. Stephen and I were talking about this a second ago. Every single nonprofit is essential, right? And there is not a soul on this planet that is not touched by this global pandemic. So I don't want you to feel that way. You're all part of the community of responders. You really are. An attendee of one of our webinars last week or the week before, it seems like ages ago, I don't even remember, said something that I think was worth repeating. She said, if you don't think your organization is essential, just imagine what your community would be like if you didn't exist. Think about that, toy with it. With all of that said, I want to be very clear that this is completely optional. This is not going to be for absolutely everyone, and we're okay with that. There's going to be some communities that there are some communities that we're working with that are telling us that, frankly, this just isn't the right opportunity for them, and that's okay. There's a whole bunch of other ways that you can participate in Giving Tuesday now, though, and we'll talk about some of those in a little bit. This does not just have to be a fundraising campaign. I guess we'll talk about some of those ways right now. With Giving Tuesday proper, Giving Tuesday now, we're inviting you to take it and do what you'd like with it. It's always the best when folks make it authentic to themselves and do creative things with Giving Tuesday. We love that, but those are the most successful campaigns, right? So there's never any rules for how to participate in Giving Tuesday. There's never any rules for how to participate in Giving Tuesday now. The goal is simply to shine a light on generosity that's happening in your community. That's the overarching goal. You don't have to spin up a separate campaign for this. If this fits, you can use it to amplify whatever you're already doing. You can share moments of generosity that are happening in your community, whether they're directly related to your organization or just people in your community who you'd like to celebrate and lift up. Our key message that we're really focused on with this event is how we're coming together in this moment as a global community, using all of our own skills, talents, assets, and generosity in whatever ways that we're able to help our communities and help our communities be strong, be resilient, heal, and move forward. So if you're in a campaign or you're about to start one, this effort can certainly be complementary. No need to reinvent any wheels. Think about using it as a way to thank your donors or reach out to them in another way to get them involved later on with your Giving Tuesday proper campaign. Use it as a way to strengthen and build relationships with your community and share what you've been doing on the ground in response to COVID-19 and just in general supporting you and healing your communities. I want to give a couple of examples for some of my favorite nonprofit activities so far, and none of them have anything to do with fundraising, just to start to get your wheels spinning. One of our organizations that serves the Latinx community, I think they're in East LA. Since it's a Tuesday and it's also Cinco de Mayo, this group is planning to deliver tacos to healthcare workers at 3 different hospitals in their area. I'm excited to see how that one pans out. There's an organization in Chicago called Twist Out Cancer. They support cancer patients. And what they're going to do for Giving Tuesday now is to virtually connect past cancer patients with current cancer patients to try to help reduce this sense of isolation and fear that they might be experiencing. There's a group in St. Louis. They are mobilizing their community to sew a quilt. It's as a symbol for healing and like a peace quilt kind of thing. Nothing at all to do with fundraising, and they were clear about that in their email too. Like, look, this is not necessarily a fundraising. If you would like to give us, that's fine, but we have this higher project and motive that we'd like to engage you with. A trend that I've talked about a lot, even last Giving Tuesday, and I'm still seeing it for Giving Tuesday now. There's nonprofits that are fundraising for other nonprofits. And that just warms my soul. It's one of my favorite Giving Tuesday activities. Maybe your org is doing okay. Maybe you just don't feel right making an ask right now, but maybe you want to lift up another organization in your neighborhood, in your community, an org that's complementary to your mission. 1,000,001 ideas. If you're not on our email list, I've been emailing twice or maybe 3 times a week with a bunch of these examples. As I'm coming across them, I'm sharing them with our e-newsletter list just to help get folks' wheels spinning. There's a whole bunch of other resources that I share in there too, so make sure you're on our email list. A couple things to consider as you're moving forward. People are still interested in giving. Stephen and I were just talking about this a couple of seconds ago, and I can't stress that enough. People are begging for things to do, ways to help. And just like regular Giving Tuesday, we think that there's a place for you to say, here's some ways that you can help, and we need help, and here's some ways that you can connect with your community. The more touch points, the better. We are on an unbelievably shortened timeline. So the first thing you want to do after you get off the phone with me is, if you haven't already, get that email, save the date out. Make sure it includes a calendar invitation. I don't know about you, but for me, if it's not on my calendar and I'm not getting a notification on my Apple Watch, it's not happening. So do that. Get a notification about Giving Tuesday on May 5th on all of your supporters' Apple Watches. It's as simple as sending them a calendar invite. There's all sorts of tech to do that. You can ask me about it if you're interested. Download the nonprofit toolkit when you get a chance, and I'll include that in the email that we sent to you a little bit later. In there, I've included a shortened timeline, really shortened timeline, as far as emails and what sort of social media you can be putting out right now. Just think about what kind of reminders you can be giving to your folks. Prime the pump over the next week and a half to remind your supporters that the big day is coming. And if you seed them with enough information and enough touch points, all of a sudden you've built up equity. On May 5th, all you got to do is pay it off. So you'll have people out there being your advocate because you've primed them to do so. But it starts now. If you go to our website, now.givingtuesday.org, you will find a number of ways that we're suggesting that folks participate. We're launching a new version of the website in a couple hours, actually. So come back in a couple hours. I'll have even more exciting ways for people to participate in Giving Tuesday. And I invite every single one of you who's on this webinar, actually, to participate as an individual. We would love that. We're suggesting folks do everything from the traditional classic unselfie. Do you remember that from back in Giving Tuesday 1.0 days? It was you print off the unselfie template on a piece of paper and you hold it up, and you write down what cause matters to you and why. I think that's something that can be easily adapted for this campaign. And there's a template in the folder for you to use if you want to share that with your own supporters. we're asking people to share their generosity in whatever way that they like and whatever way they feel is best for them. Everything from starting an 8 p.m. cheer, you all have seen this in cities all throughout the US and around the world too. Cities are coming together to do a cheer and celebrate at shift changes near the hospital. It's so beautiful. One of my favorite acts of kindness. Buying gift cards for small businesses in your area that you want to be able to support but might not be able to at this immediate moment. Think about buying gift cards. Combat loneliness. Sign up for a volunteer shift with crisis text line, or there's 100 ways to express generosity. We're going to present a few of them on our website, but one of them, of course, is going to be to support your local nonprofits. But we want to stress with people that there are more than one way to give back and be generous in their lives. We have a new daily generosity text message campaign. If you text Giving Tuesday to 33777, it's on our website, and I'll include it in the recording too. You'll get a text message from me every day with an idea for something quick and easy and simple that you might do to help give back. It's a pet project of mine. It's a lot of fun. It's really time consuming. I don't recommend it for absolutely every campaign, but we feel it's a really good one in this case. So sign up. I'd love to have you. We have a new MAP campaign. We're asking folks to pin their acts of kindness and generosity, not just stuff that they've done, but stuff that they've witnessed too. And I'd invite you all to do the same, to pin it to our global map so that we can show the impact of generosity during this pandemic. We literally want to cover the map with Giving Tuesday hearts. It's getting there. This is from a week ago, this screenshot, but if you go to now.givingtuesday.org, you'll see the live version. It's another thing that excites me. If you are ever feeling low or have a moment where you need a pick-me-up, check out the map. There are some really, really great acts of kindness and things, good news that's worth celebrating. I'd love for you all personally to pin to the map, and if your nonprofit has an activity that they're planning for Giving Tuesday now, make sure that's on the map too. As always, in addition to individual tools, we have built a nonprofit toolkit for you, also available at now.givingtuesday.org. Everything's in a Google Drive right now, trying to make things as simple as possible. In there, you will find sample press releases. You will find sample social media. I did sample emails for you this time around too. I don't usually do that, but in the interest of time and knowing that you all are strapped for it, I did some sample copy-pastable email templates that you can use to get the word out about to your supporters. I did a super condensed communications timeline. It included last week, so I'm telling you, you're behind now, but it's there. You can play catch up. Remember, first thing you do when you get off the phone is send that save the date email out. And there's graphics, loads and loads of graphics. We worked with Canva this time around, so they are available on Canva. You have to access them through the nonprofit toolkit. If you go down to the bottom, you'll see a collage of, it'll look similar to that. You'll click the use the template button, and that will open a new copy of that template in your own Canva account, where you can edit and change and customize and rebrand at will. Make sure you tag us in whatever graphic creations that you make, because I love to see them. The creativity that people exhibit and show off around Giving Tuesday is my favorite thing. Other highlights in the nonprofit toolkit, I did a section for light and easy ways that you might engage in digital tactics. You could organize a peer-to-peer campaign if you have folks from last Giving Tuesday who did that for you. I suggest asking if they do that for you again. You can probably reuse whatever toolkits you created for them last time around for Giving Tuesday and change the date, and I think you'd be okay. I've been highly recommending that folks go live with everybody being at home. The platforms are very much in favor of keeping folks on their platform, so the algorithms are favoring live video. It doesn't have to be fancy. It can be, honestly, some of the most interesting lives that I've tuned into the past week have been an executive director on their couch and just telling it like it is. Be authentic. Don't be afraid to explain what's going on in your organization. I think it makes the case even more compelling, actually. A tactic that I saw last year that I really liked, a nonprofit was asking their followers who were heavy Twitter users to change their display name. And I show you a screenshot of this in the toolkit so you can see what I'm talking about. They asked their supporters to change their display name to, instead of Cat Murphy, I'm supporting what your organization handle for #GivingTuesdayNow. And that way, anytime that person tweets anything throughout that day, that message is strategically placed in everything that person says, and everything that all of their followers will see that too. Think about organizing a Twitter chat. I haven't seen enough of those lately, and I miss Twitter chats, but I think that's a good opportunity. An AMA could be good content for live, actually. Go live with clients if you can, but even team members. Fascinating way to let people know what's going on with your community. If you follow our social channels, and if you don't yet, please do, @GivingTuesday on every social media platform, including you'll know that I've been sharing stories that our community has been reporting to us. I mentioned we have 60 countries, and those country leaders they're on a WhatsApp group, and they're constantly sharing these beautiful activities, things that everyday people are doing to survive and heal through this crisis. And it's just amazing. And so my strategy on our social channels has been to share all that because it inspires others. We know that folks need that. Think about sharing uplifting stories on your own social channels in the weeks leading up to May 5th. It doesn't have to just be about your organization. It can be anybody in your community. Just share good news. It's inspiring and it helps. Like I said, we just signed up with TikTok. It's my favorite. Giving Tuesday has always been a reason for folks to try something new, and we definitely encourage that. If you are an organization that's looking to reach young people, this is the place that you need to be. I think it's sorely undertapped too, right? There's only a handful of nonprofits, myself, and there's a handful of us. We call ourselves TikTok. Nonprofit TikTok is a hashtag we made up. Please join us. The third video that I ever posted has 2.1 million views. I've never seen anything like it. The engagement is incredible. People actually talk to each other on that app. It's refreshing and it's fun. I think I'm going to do a webinar. If you're interested, let me know. Just come at me on Twitter, or if you DM @GivingTuesday on any social platform, it goes to my phone. So that's probably the easiest way to reach me. Let me know if you're interested in that. I might do a small group session or a webinar on TikTok for nonprofits, because I think it's an underutilized channel. Like I said, we've got the new Canva templates for you. Please take whatever it is that you find in that Google Drive folder and adapt it for your own purposes. We love that. Giving Tuesday is a free and open source movement for everybody. It's shaped by you all. We're not the experts in this at all, not even close. We find that our role is to share out activities that others are doing and some novel activities and activations that we see. So in an effort to inspire you all to use your creativity and come up with something awesome. I guess the last thing that I want to say, there's GIFs in there too. And Instagram stickers. Don't forget about those. Everything seems to be falling apart right now, right? But we have an opportunity. We can get through it together, and we can put it back, not just the way it was, but the way we want it to be. That's what Giving Tuesday Now is all about. Let's build the society that we all want to live in. This crisis is deepening. Failings and gaps in our system are becoming more apparent than possibly they ever were before. But we have a chance to emerge from this with a commitment to bridging those gaps and protecting our vulnerable and caring for one another and opting for generosity first in all things. So that's what Giving Tuesday Now is about. I invite you to join us. Please don't think that you have to fundraise on this particular day. If you want to, you're more than welcome. We're just hoping that this can be a day of global unity to celebrate us as humanity and the generosity that we're using to get through all this. So thank you. I'm going to open it up for questions. I think, Stephen, you want to do questions?
Yeah, we got a lot of questions. Thanks for that, Kat. I really appreciated what you said early on about all the organizations being essential. I've been trying to tell that to folks all month, it seems like. I hope everyone...
You tweeted that. Didn't you tweet that the other day?
Yeah, I got fired up about that topic. I think all of you are worthy of support right now, no matter what you do, whether you're a animal shelter or library foundation. We love you all. So thanks for saying that, Kat, and thanks for giving us all those resources. Everything that she mentioned, we're going to email to all you folks. Don't worry, we'll get that all to you because there's lots of good stuff in there. And we tried to save a lot of time for questions, and I'm glad we did because there's already a lot here. Kat, the one question that jumped out at me quickly on was you don't need to go through some sort of formal application process to do Giving Tuesday, right? Like there are no membership. Could you just kind of squash that?
Oh, and there never will be. I get that question a ton. One thing that you can do if you want to, this is not at all required, on givingtuesday.org, there's a participating organizations page. You can submit that form and get your nonprofit listed. A common misconception, maybe, I think some nonprofits think that they can simply get listed on that page and have donations roll in.
Right.
I've always struggled making the logic jump, but I just want to be very clear that you're welcome to do that. You're also going to want to build a campaign for Giving Tuesday, right? It's right. I don't think I have one example of someone finding a nonprofit via the Giving Tuesday page, right, and giving to them. I don't think it's ever happened. I could be wrong, but I don't think it's ever happened.
So anyone right now could just go out and start using the branding, the logos, the name. They can just do that. It's all for everybody.
Exactly. You take what we have and you go forth and prosper.
I love it. Okay, well, let's talk some campaigns.
One more thing, and you can use whatever donation platform you are on. You don't have to use Facebook. You don't have to use anybody. Yeah. You use whatever platforms you have available to you.
That was my next question. So you squashed that one too. I love it. This is awesome. We've got some cool questions in here. A couple of people asked, they mentioned that May 5th, there are some other giving days maybe associated with like their local community already happening. And can they do both? It seems like that's a positive to me because there's another entity.
Absolutely.
So any comments on that?
Our team is in communication with all giving days.
Okay.
Every single one of them. In fact, I challenge everybody in this group to find a giving day that I'm not in touch with. We know we're talking with all of them. They're on a Slack group. I'm not making this up. They actually all talk to each other. That's cool. And we're considering all of those folks as part of the Giving Tuesday community, right? Depending on timing, because some of them I'm finding are happening May 1st through May 4th. Some of them are happening after. You might end up using Giving Tuesday Now to thank your donors that you have obtained from your local campaign. Could be the other way around. Yeah. We always err on the side of advising that you should always participate with your local group. Participating with Giving Tuesday would be like a bonus add-on.
Secondary, yeah.
That,
okay.
Right? Think of it that way.
That makes sense. I'm glad you said that. I never heard anyone from Giving Tuesday say that's awesome. So you mentioned a lot of ideas for using Giving Tuesday, not necessarily for asking money, which I really appreciate because one of the things we've always been recommending and see people do is days of thanking donors, like because giving has a lot of definitions, not necessarily soliciting funds. Any further advice around how they could go about doing that under kind of the umbrella of Giving Tuesday? Have you seen any sort of interesting examples of that, or any particular creativity around thanking days specifically?
Who was it that went live last year on Giving Tuesday? They had a wall. It was like a whiteboard bulletin wall, and they had sticky notes or something, and they were it was like it was a live virtual donor wall type thing. It was
cool.
really
Okay.
cute. I'm going to find it and I'll email it out.
Yeah, we'll send it out.
Every couple days I'm sending an e-newsletter. Every single one of those includes creative activations that you might do within your organization. It also suggests joining our nonprofit learning lab. That's been a topic of great popularity lately. Just folks are sharing what it is that they're doing, and that's probably the best place to go to get inspiration right now.
Cool. And is that the Facebook group, or is that in addition to?
The Giving Tuesday Facebook group. If you go on our page,
yep.
And on the left side, there's a groups thing. It's the Learning Lab one.
Okay, cool.
That's the group for nonprofits.
We'll send that one out.
It's a great group. It's nonprofit development directors and marketers from all around the world. Just like Giving Tuesday, it started out as a group with a nationwide group, but it's all over the world now. Awesome.
You mentioned Cinco de Mayo, which was kind of in the back of my mind for the past couple of weeks since I've known this. I love the taco idea. Someone else in the chat here mentioned the day's proximity to Mother's Day as well.
Yeah.
Any ideas around maybe sort of co-opting or hooking onto a neighboring holiday? Because when you usually do these around Thanksgiving and Christmas. Any tag teaming ideas?
I mean, it's kind of the same, right? Like Giving Tuesday proper is in direct competition.
Yeah, right.
It's not competition anymore. We have overtaken Cyber Monday. Cyber Monday for their hashtag count on Instagram, I overtook them this year. They're now more popular than Cyber Monday. I don't know. I think it's just what you said. Not necessarily co-opting different holidays, but how can you use that as your Giving Tuesday activation? Cinco de Mayo, I had a bunch of questions about that, but our Latinos Give campaign, they're a coalition of organizations that are led by Latinx individuals and serving Latinx communities. They were like, no, why would you not have it on Cinco de Mayo? It's a day of celebration. This is also a day of celebration. So they were some of the folks who urged us to do it on May 5th. Lots of fun things that you can do with that. Can you, because Mother's Day is the following Sunday?
I think so. Yeah. I think it's pretty close. Yeah. It's after for sure. Yeah.
Organize your folks to what if you sent flowers to your local hospital for all the new mothers?
Oh, great. Yeah, absolutely.
And support diaper banks too.
Yep.
That's another type of organization that, as you can guess, sorely needs help right now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That could be cool. Do a diaper drive.
Yeah. If your mission really has to do with that, there's some creative things there. I'm gonna think on that one.
Or not. Right. Well, I've been seeing a lot of nonprofits who are like, look, this might not be the best opportunity for me, our organization, but I want to participate. We're the animal organization who's going to do a diaper drive for the diaper organization down the street.
Yep.
Love stuff like that.
I love
it. Donors love stuff like that too.
I
personally gave to 3 organizations yesterday, the day before, because someone had done just that. They were like, look, we don't need support right now, but this small person of color led organization on the South Side really does. And we want to share that organization with our followers. And I ended up giving to all 3 organizations that they mentioned.
That's cool. That's awesome. Here's one from Mary Ann. So we talked about giving days that are kind of close to this scheduled Giving Tuesday. She's got one that there's a giving day a few weeks out. It's sort of in maybe that no man's land where it's not quite close enough to maybe combine efforts, but it is sort of soon in the future. So it looks like they have a thing on May 20th. So 15 days later, a couple weeks. Any tips for folks who maybe have something happening late May, early June already? Should they choose, one to be fundraising and one not, or make them very singular?
That's probably what I would do. And to be honest with you, I'd probably choose my local giving day to do my fundraising with, right? Because they're going to have local media strategy that's supporting that campaign and that hashtag that you're going to have access to. They might have matching grants and prizes that you're going to have access to. I would probably use that as my fundraising day.
Okay.
And use GivingTuesday now to seed that day is coming.
Okay. That makes sense. You all are so gracious with what you recommend to folks. You never have I heard anyone over there say, no, GivingTuesday is the number one thing. So
honestly, people struggle. People struggle with that a lot. Yeah. They'll want me to have rules and guidance, and no, none of those. All of those things sound great. Just do whatever it is that works for you.
Yeah,
that's bottom line.
Yeah,
that's the tag. That's the tagline. GivingTuesday, whatever works for you.
I love it. There are lots of questions in here about sort of frequency of messaging, whether it's number of emails, number of social media posts. Have you seen any sort of sweet spot there in terms of the frequency of messaging? Is it the more the better, or what have you seen?
Yeah, it is the more the better. I mean, what's that old marketing rule that it used to take seven touch points to get somebody to do something, and it's more like 27 these days with digital and social and you have channels coming at you everywhere. More is better. I would suggest spreading them out over as many different channels as you have available to you, right? So that it's coming in different locations and in different ways, and try to make that content exciting and different. So you're not going to be hitting resend on the same email 4 times in 1 week. You're going to adjust that email, target it.
Yeah.
As much as conceivably possible, segment your email lists, and just try to make it different.
That makes sense. I echo that with from what we see in the Bloomerang customer cohort, at least, which is not the whole sector, but it is tens of thousands of fundraisers. It's the quantity, the folks that are raising more money, they are asking more often than the people who aren't. So
don't be shy. Don't be scared. It's you need to tell your story. You are all first responders in this. Don't feel bad about sending 4 emails in a week. I don't think that's bad. I don't think you should think that's bad either. You're going to be targeting and segmenting your audience. You're going to be changing that content up with a little bit different message each time. It's okay.
I love it. A couple of people are asking about, will there be any sort of matching gifts from Facebook or other entities like their normal?
I haven't heard anything from Facebook yet. I mean, you all will find out as soon as I know about it. I haven't, but there's a GoFundMe thing.
Okay.
I'll share the link with you and you can share that out.
Okay. Sweet.
I only got it yesterday morning and haven't had a chance to read the details on it yet, but it exists. There's some kind of GoFundMe match.
You're all kind of moving fast over there.
Well, no, honestly, that's just it. I don't know the answer to the matching question yet. I will find.
Okay.
I mean, you're going to find out as soon as we find out about it.
Cool.
We're never involved in any of the matches.
Oh, okay.
Just like all things GivingTuesday, everyone, companies and brands included, are welcome to take it and do what they like with it. We have absolutely nothing to do with the Facebook match. They just knock on our door and they send us an email is what they do and tell us that they're going to do what they're going to do. And we say, okay, we'll help get the word out.
Cool.
We have nothing to do with any of these matches, but we'll let you know as soon as they come up.
Yeah. And if Bloomerang sees something, we'll signal boost it as well, of course.
Yeah.
Channels. You mentioned channels. A couple people asking about being on every conceivable channel. What's your take on that? Because I feel similarly.
No, you can't be on every single channel. No.
Yeah.
I am, but only because I have various subsets of audiences that are on those channels. And so I create different content for those folks on the different channels that I need to use to reach people. Your folks are not everywhere. Pick two. Why would you have more than 2 social channels? Maybe LinkedIn and 2 more.
Mm-hmm.
I think LinkedIn is underutilized as well.
Yeah.
I really do. We did a webinar with LinkedIn. I'm going to pull it out. There's a recording. It exists somewhere. I'll pull it out and share it with you guys.
You got TikTok webinar. You got everything.
No, I don't have the TikTok thing yet. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow.
can you dig into the unselfie thing? We had a couple people that,
Oh yeah.
because that's kind of an old school, that was the first thing I did. I remember maybe
Yeah.
2012 or 2013. Is that making a comeback? Are you seeing?
It's making a comeback.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It wasn't a gimmick, but it was a thing that you could do, right? And it was simple and an easy way to share what organizations you're giving to. And then the premise is that you challenge someone else to do it. So I write on my sign, and I promise I have a version of this that has our logo and it says Unselfie on it. And you print it out. If you don't have a printer, I've come up with a solution for that too. There's a digital version of it on Instagram stickers. If you make a story on Instagram and you type in Unselfie, or if you type in GivingTuesday, it'll come up. There's a sticker and you enlarge it and you type what you're, where or who you're giving to, tag them actually, that would be even better, and post it to your Instagram story, because people don't have printers these days, but that's okay.
So this is donors sort of bragging about who they're giving to on Giving Tuesday.
And you. I do.
Okay.
Even when I worked for nonprofit organizations, I've always I write down, this is the cause that I stand for.
Okay.
And then I post it to my social media channel, and I challenge 5 other people to do the same thing. And it's helping you reach that next tier of folks that you might not normally reach. It's the same premise as peer-to-peer fundraising, right? You've got those folks out there being your ambassador and sharing your content on their own personal pages so that it reaches their friends and family members that you don't necessarily have access to unless they happen to follow your page.
It seems like there's almost like a fear of missing out to tap into with this. That's
totally
really powerful, because people want to show off that they're philanthropic, and it's almost as if giving them an opportunity to brag is more motivating than asking them for money. You're right. You know what I mean? Like, who are you?
That is exactly why Giving Tuesday has reached its. That's why Giving Tuesday is the way it is. Yeah, for exactly that reason.
So I'm wondering if maybe folks could maybe ahead of time reach out to those loyal donors in their database and almost kind of seed it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they might be more powerful to raise money for you, going back to what you said about peer-to-peer, than you would be asking people directly.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's a really good idea. That's a really good idea.
Okay, we got lots of questions coming in. I think the answer to this is you probably don't know yet, but any sense that maybe this would repeat next year, that there will always be 2
God, I hope not. Oh, goodness, I hope not.
Because you mean for this to really just be like a pure response?
We are fully intending, this is in direct response to COVID-19. I would not anticipate that we would be doing this again. I mean, I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope the world doesn't. I hope the world doesn't look like this in a year.
Yep.
No, we're not intending. But who knows?
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say unequivocally not. I don't know.
We won't hold you to it, even though we're recording. We'll. You mentioned some of those affinity groups, other organizations, maybe a similar cause type. How can people maybe find those? Is there a good way? Should they go to maybe their kind of mothership, if they have a national headquarters or association?
Not even. I have them all listed.
Okay, you got them.
GivingTuesday.org. In the navigation on GivingTuesday.org, there's a page that says Giving Tuesday in the U.S.
Okay.
And there's a map that pulls up.
Ooh.
I'm actually going to migrate these to the new map later this afternoon, so it'll probably be even easier for you to find. But you find the map page, zoom in on your area, and you will find out if there is a community campaign already happening in your local neighborhood, community, city, town, state.
Cool.
There's also a listing of affinity groups for issue areas. I have them pulled out a little bit separately because they're not geographical. There's a listing of those there. If you don't see one that you fit into, we love folks who want to organize community campaigns. All it takes is one person to raise their hand. I did it. I was the second community campaign ever, and my colleague Jamie, who's our chief strategy officer, was the first community campaign leader. We take great pride in that. Numbers 1 and 2, and all it was I called 92nd Street Y and said, "Hey, I'd like to do this. I'd like to steal your idea and do it in Chicago." And Henry and Asha were like, yeah, that sounds great. And I had psyched myself up for this conversation. I'm going to have to convince them that I want to just steal their stuff and I want to change the logo. And they're going to tell me, no, there's no way they're going to tell me that that's okay. And quite the opposite. That's exactly how it works. You come a calling, send me an email, hit me up on DM, tell me what you want to do. The only thing that we require of our community campaigns is that they're open to more than one nonprofit. So if you're intending on doing a geography-based campaign, it has to be open to all nonprofits in your vicinity or within your issue group, whatever you're depending on, whatever you'd like to do with the coalition. They're often run by community foundations or United Ways, or they have partnership with the community foundation or United Way.
Okay.
I worked at a nonprofit association when I ran my community campaign. If you have one of those that's a great resource to tap as well.
Nice. Cool. Okay. A couple questions about creating maybe specific landing pages around the campaign. Any guidance there versus just kind of the normal generic donate page on people's websites?
I wouldn't, to be honest with you. I wouldn't. Why recreate anything? We've only got 14 days to do it. Now, if you have some sort of tech platform or way to easily do that, by all means. But if it's going to take you any amount of time to build a landing page, don't do that. Why do that? Just direct folks right to your donate button.
Cool.
It's great if you can rebrand your donate page temporarily. Folks will do this for Giving Tuesday proper. A question I get for Giving Tuesday proper is, well, how do I fold my Giving Tuesday day into my end of year campaign? And we say it's very simple. On your donate page on December 1st, it has a Giving Tuesday banner on it and some Giving Tuesday language. And then the next day, you just roll that into your end of year. It's going to take that off, and that's it. That's often an easier way of handling it than developing a full landing page.
Right. Which is going to go away anyway. Yeah.
Which is going to go away anyway. It's often easier for tracking purposes just to direct folks to your donate button. If you're doing some sort of activation that you think it would be really helpful, or if you happen to have a really easy to use website where it's not hard for you to create a landing page, it's good to have, but I don't think it's essential.
Okay. Keep it simple, I guess, is a
keep it simple. Yeah, keep it simple. Don't make people go through loops or hoops to find what it is that they want to do, especially if your call to action is to donate to me. Don't make it hard for them. Easy as possible. And don't make it hard on yourself.
Yeah, that's probably most important is this we were talking about this before we started, but this tends to be a pressure point for people, and we don't want that.
No, low bar. Set yourself at a low bar. We are all going through some stuff right now. Right. Personally, professionally, emotionally.
Yeah.
Don't set yourself to a high bar with this. And again, it's completely optional, and we're not requiring all nonprofits on the planet to do something on Giving Tuesday now. We would love that, but it's optional.
Here's a question which I think you're going to say yes to, but I want to read it because I think it's a good idea that maybe some other folks could maybe emulate. This person had a month-long virtual fundraiser on Facebook, and it's scheduled to end on April 30th, but they haven't quite hit they don't think they're going to hit the goal that they wanted to. Would you suggest extending that fundraiser through May 5th and sort of tag teaming on Giving Tuesday? That seems like a pretty good idea.
Absolutely. That's brilliant. Yeah, that's brilliant. Absolutely. Folks will do that often if they hadn't met their Giving Tuesday proper goals. Folks very often continue that through end of year. That having that thermometer or whatever it is that you're using show your progress is that much more compelling and a kick in the pants for donors to keep giving.
Yeah.
So use that. Yeah, totally. That's a brilliant idea.
So, broadly, Giving Tuesday could just be the kickoff. It doesn't have to end at 11:59 p.m. on the 5th.
Totally.
Very cool. Well, we're almost out of time. It's almost 2:00. I want to give you the last word, Kat, but I thought a good last question. A lot of folks in here have never done any Giving Tuesday.
Welcome.
Which is, I'm glad they're here. Should they do anything differently? It seems like maybe not for this one, but and any advice for those first timers specifically?
Honestly, get on our email list because I'm walking folks through what exactly it is they need to do each day. I'm doing that by just converting what I have in my nonprofit toolkit into email pieces. So if you want to just read it that way, that's fine too. Get on our email list, get into that Google Drive with all the nonprofit resources, which I will share with you when we get off the phone. We have everything built for you, which you're welcome to customize and take, change, and do whatever it is that you like, but we have everything built for you.
Okay. Well, we're going to get all that information out. We'll send folks the slides, the recording. I know you've already said it a couple of times, Kat, but how can people get in touch with you besides just DMing the Giving Tuesday account? Which, thanks for saying that. That was really nice of you to admit.
I'm the only one who runs our social channels. So
it's the same with me and Bloomerang. If you DM Bloomerang, it's actually me. So.
It's me. I know. People are astonished by that, and I find it amazing and humbling, and I love it. I that's my favorite thing ever, to get off of a webinar, and then I usually spend the whole rest of my day responding to people, but it's my favorite.
Good.
It's important to us as a team. We want you to talk to an actual person. You will always talk to an actual person with us.
Okay.
As we get closer to the date, my response rate may be a little bit slowed, but I will get back to you eventually. My email address, you can be there too. It's Kathleen@GivingTuesday.org. I answer questions all the time. No question is too silly. I love questions.
Well, we appreciate that, and the fact that you did this webinar on short notice for us. I said in the beginning, if people didn't log on early enough, but I sort of berated them to have somebody come on and talk to our audience here, and they answered the call. So they're awesome people for sure. It's good to finally put a couple of faces with the Giving Tuesday logo as well. So thanks for doing this, Kat. This was a lot of fun.
You're welcome. No, thank you. Thanks for having me.
And good luck to you and the team over there. And good luck to all of you who are gonna, hopefully, if you want to participate in this. So like I said, it's an optional thing, but I think it could be good depending on your situation, what are things you've got going on here. So we're gonna send out all the resources. We'll get that to you today. You may get emails from me, from Kat, from both of us with different things in them, but you're definitely gonna wanna go to the website and download those things. And there's a new website coming up, I think later today, right, Kat? There'll be some new stuff there.
Now it exists now. I'm going to flip it to a new design a little bit later. You can go there now. It's now.givingtuesday.org.
Okay, cool.
Is our campaign page for this activation.
Awesome. Well, thanks for doing this, Kat.
Thank you, everyone. No, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Well, we've got a couple, actually more. We have 3 more webinars this week. I'm just gonna roll through them. Yeah, it's starting tomorrow. We've got Karen Hopper. Yeah, I know. I'm excited. I need to get a lot of B vitamin injections.
Legacy fundraising during a pandemic.
Yeah, we got some really
That's fascinating.
topics. Yeah, Legia is, she's a top fundraiser over at Greenpeace. She's a buddy of mine. She is awesome. One of my go-tos for legacy. We've been getting a lot of questions about, should we be sending out bequest marketing? Should we be talking about planned giving now? She's going to break it down. That's Wednesday. Tomorrow we got Google Analytics, which I think has a lot of interesting dovetails into your presentation, Kat, to kind of see where people are coming from. And then on Thursday, I have the dates right? Yeah, Thursday, our buddy Jeff Jowdy is going to talk about how board chairs specifically should be engaging with the organization they serve on during these tough times. So we got some
make them do something for Giving Tuesday now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make your or if you want a match, ask your board chairs to put up a match. It doesn't have to be a lot.
We could have talked for an hour about board members specifically for Giving Tuesday.
I know we really could have.
I think Giving Tuesday.
So
yeah, go ahead.
2 asks of them. See if they can pull together a matching fund for you. It does not have to be a lot. It can be $500, but it allows you to be able to say your donation might be matched up to however much, right? Board chairs, vendors, sponsors who were going to sponsor your gala and they're not anymore, ask them for a match for Giving Tuesday. Always better to organize your own match. Aside from that, they could run a peer-to-peer fundraiser for you and help you reach their networks that you might not normally have access to. There's 100 things that board members can do for Giving Tuesday.
It could be a godsend for just board members donating to you. Like if you don't have 100% board giving, this seems like a good reason to ask. Hey, it's Giving Tuesday.
Yeah, it is.
Oh wow, maybe we'll have you back tomorrow. You're not busy or anything. We'll come back for an hour.
I'll come back tomorrow. We'll talk about TikTok and board management.
I love it.
Boards, yeah, no, that's great. I'm so glad you brought this up. I'd forgotten to mention it entirely, but it's a really good strategy.
We'll see. She's a wealth of knowledge, so reach out to her, folks. There's obviously lots of things you can pick her brain about. So thanks for doing this. I know I've said thank you a bunch of times, but this was awesome. And thanks to all of you for hanging out for an hour or so. It's 2:00. We'll call it a day there because I know you're all super busy with stuff. But just look for an email from us. We'll get you all the recordings and stuff. And hopefully we'll see you sometime this week. If you want to come to the rest of the 3 webinars, that would be a lot. But if you only want to come to 1 or 2, that's okay. Just send me a chat. Let me know you were on the one with Kat. So thank you. We'll call it a day there. And have a good Monday. Have a good week. Stay safe. And we'll
see you all on May 5th.
Yeah. Good luck. Bye now.